The following comes from my dear Facebook friend Paul Ratcliffe. He is known as JACKDAW' on his YouTube channel and website, and I'll give the links below. Know well the rules of our art. On a late summer's windless afternoon, old Joan and I sat on the bank of Tamar Lake, a few miles west of Bradworthy. As usual, I spent much of the morning pestering her to tell me more about how to do things. Like most teenagers, I was impatient and had fantasies about casting grand spells. Old Joan did her best to calm me down and explain again that the most important thing to do before working a spell or any act of magic was to think, could it be done, and if it could, would I really want the results? As the day wore on, the heat of the sun and the sound of nature all around me finally brought a sense of calm. I laid on my back with my eyes closed and fell into a deep daydream. I could feel the great serpent moving beneath me under the earth and the many spirits buzzing around in the hot summer still air. Suddenly, I heard a tinkle of a metal object on stone, and so I opened my eyes and looked around to see what it was. Joan had taken out her knife and was holding it lightly by the very extremity of its hilt between the tips of her thumb and index finger. She lowered it slowly until just the tip of its blade was in the water of the lake and started to move it around and around. On the perfectly still waters, the movement of the knife blade tip made ripples which slowly moved outwards in what seemed to be a spiral. After only a few moments, the tiny ripples had expanded to cover 6 or more square feet of the water's surface. She turned to me and said, "See how even a small thing such as the tip of this knife, used in the right way, can have such an influence?" I sat up, clearing the sleep from my eyes, and turned around so that I was facing her. She put away her knife back into her basket and said, "The world is like chess. When you first look at the game, it seems to have very few rules, but then after a while, you start to understand that it has many, far more subtle rules. The better you understand these rules, the more likely it is you will win, and those who have mastered the subtle rules of chess know better what move to make next. If you know and understand the more subtle rules of the world, then you will not only be able to make changes in it by working magic, but also know better what effect these works will have and know the best way in which these acts can be done." Earth spirits can't endure the sea, nor anything that comes from there, and above all they abhor salt. So brine or seawater. Everything has life or spirit, life force, sproul. The foolish believe without question, and the wise observe. Like influences like. Will controls action. The stronger will controls the weaker will. A symbolic act is a real act. Repetition brings strength. The breath can convey power. Not all that is seen, and not all that is seen is real. Everything has a name. Know that name, and you will have power over it. Mirrors are gateways to other realms. Distance hinders neither our will nor our vision. Suggestion has force. Never forget to clean up after yourself, and not just physically. The parts equal the whole. The eye has the power to change what it sees. Resonance, words and rhythm carry will. Some boundaries protect, others imprison. Some beings will do your bidding. Most of them can be made to. You see different things with different eyes. All movement in nature is a message. The dead live and play their part in this world and in theirs. Enter the maze and return transformed. The bones of this land are not speechless. Knowest thou what thou art, in the hour of sleep, a mere body, a mere spirit, or a secret retreat of light? Seek equipoise, tranquil between the holly thorns, both black and white. Be as courageous as the oak, as wise as the hazel, and as resilient as the elder, but always with the silence of the willow, for these are the ways of the witch. Surrender the things of youth without sorrow, for age shall bring deeper wisdom and greater understanding.